stupid thing. Okay. It's 1:45, so at 7:30. Me too, I should have been. I hate that it does that. Now what we could do is do this. We can duplicate this layer. Nope, not that one. That's not the right one. Okay, this one. We can duplicate this layer. I just stretched it way out. Scale it a little smaller. Probably. I'm going to... There's a lot of them out there. Okay. I'm going to duplicate the layer, flip it, move it over here. Okay. Add another layer. Let's see something. Let's see where my layer is. But isn't there? That's still piece. Okay. I like knowing where my layers are, so I add a layer up there. Okay, now we're going to do wrinkles. So I'm going to bring my brush down. I'm going to try it at 20. And you kind of want to look at where you want your wrinkles to be. So somewhere's like in here. And so about right in here. We'll try that for now. And then duplicate that layer. Now I do my wrinkles a very slight variation than Sarai does. I'm still going to bucket fill. Still going to do you want me to call you right back? Oh, and your Cam Studio was sent, so you can see if it'll work. You can't see it all? Okay. So I put my duplicated wrinkle on, right? I'm going to bucket fill the bottom layer with black. And this is where it deviates a little bit. I'm going to click this top layer. And all I'm going to do instead of the stack thing is just move it down with my arrow. She knows. I've taught her, and she still stacks. But you still have to click the top layer here and then go to layer and merge. Okay? But it's a lot simpler than all this stacking thing she does. So, yeah, she knows it, but you're welcome. She's like, I'm just going to do it the way I know how. I'm like, I just taught you a simple, easy way. We yelled at each other all day long. So there. We do all day long. We just sit there and yell at each other, and she says she's perfect, and I tell her she's not, and I tell her I'm perfect, and she says I'm not, and we just bitch at each other. Okay, now if you can, or you can leave it like this. It's It's up to you, but I don't think that it is small enough. So I'm going to go to, first I'm going to try 200 width and see if that's about right. I'm going to check it first. I just want to check out how wide they are, if they're in the right spot. Maybe just a little bit, and then um, maybe move them over a little tad. Okay, let's see. Go back to my layers, scale it. I'll go to 150 and move them over just a little bit. And I forgot to blur them, so I'm going to blur them up. Forgot that part. To 3. Woo. Uh-uh. Ain't doing that. Maybe won't blur. Maybe they're already blurred enough with my little merging thing. Okay. Now, you can you can do it both ways. You can do it this way where you just take down your opacity a little bit, or you can also go and I would get like a dark blue, bring my brush up, go to overlay, like that. And then all you gotta do is click it once or twice, and then duplicate your layer and flip it horizontally and move it where you want it to go. And then check and see how those look. Now if you want some wrinkles under her butt, so I'm going to click that layer, so add a new layer, go under her butt, change that back to black, bring this back down to about 20 or so, and I'm going to put it back on normal. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to curve it up on one side, okay? And then duplicate that, move it down just a little bit, put it on black, bucket fill it, click the top one and move my arrow down, click the top one and merge. Get my brush. It's probably a little big. Blur it up some. I think it's a bit wide, so I'm going to make it skinnier. You know you can make them skinnier with this brush, right? You're pushing. This thing's pushing things, so you can push it where you want it to go and make them skinnier. Don't want that. So you're just basically pushing them together, and then you can kind of do your thing with it. And actually, it needs to be a little smaller, but I don't think it needs to be blurred anymore. But I'm gonna go on my layers, scale it. I'm going to go to 200 first and see. I don't know, that looks like it might be a nice little size. maybe a little smaller. I'll check it and see. It needs to go down a little bit and maybe a little bit smaller. So I'll scale it to 150. And move it down. Get my blue. Bring my brush all the way up. Put it on overlay. Click it. I'm going to click that one 3 times. I don't know, maybe not. What do you think? Just twice? Or 3? And then go to my layer and duplicate the layer. Actually, I kind of like it like that, so I'm going to merge those together and duplicate and put one right underneath it. And then I'm going to merge and duplicate and flip and move this one over here. Let's see. It might be in the right spot. Maybe not so in your face. And maybe a little further apart. Okay, so this one I'll move a little further apart, and this one I'll move a little further apart. And then I'm going to merge them down and take the opacity down just a bit. Now, do you want wrinkles on the sides of your seams? Going up and down the leg? You can, now on this particular mesh, we don't know exactly where the knee is. I was guessing around here, so we'll, from our map, let's see. Okay, so let's go back up here. Add a layer. Get white. Keep forgetting to turn that black. Bring this back down. Okay, so it's still an overlay. Maybe a little tiny one there. And if you want, you can add some on the back. And then go to layer, duplicate the layer, move it down just a tad, get black again, bucket fill, Click the top layer, move it down, click the top layer, go to layer and merge it down. Grab your brush. It's hard for me to tell, so I'm going to click all these eyes back on because I can't see the black. I'm going to blur it, but not to 3. I'm going to blur it to a 1. And then I'm going to grab my blue, put it on overlay. I'm going to take my opacity down, way down. And then duplicate and flip. Save. Those are way too far apart. Okay, so that was not the knee. So I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to merge them together first because they're in the right spots. They're just, so I'm going to merge it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it. I'm going to click my chain, and I'm only going to mess with the height. I'll make the height 256 to make it about half of what it was, and then I'm going to have to move them up, so, or down, wherever. This is where I was assuming the knee was, but I'm not sure, so we'll look. I was guessing. I guess a lot. Keep putting denim in. It's not denim, it's jeans. Still needs to go up just a tad. Just a little bit. Did it again. I know. I'm gonna move it down just a bit. Just a couple pixels. I'm anal, just to let you know. It is so much easier making a denim skirt. Okay. And you wanted some wrinkles on the sides of there, like little puckers or whatever. Okay, so you add another. Make that black again. Make this on normal again. Take this down. Okay. So what we're going to do is make a little line. That's all we're going to do. And merge it. Or why are we merging it? Duplicate it. And we're moving the wrong thing. So we're going to not do that line. We're going to click this, add a new layer so that we know that what layer we're on. Make a little line, duplicate that. Now don't worry if it's overlapped because it's all, see now the white showed up. And when you blur those together anyways. So I don't worry if it didn't really quite do it perfectly. Now I don't want it to be huge, so I'm going to push them together. Okay. Try to make it as thin and as I can. Alright. And then I'm not blurring that because it'll just make it bigger. So what I'm going to do is go back to my dark blue, and I'm going to go back to my paint, put it on overlay, make it big, do it twice, and I don't know if I want it to be smaller than that, not so wide. I might make it just a tad bit smaller. Okay, that looks fine, I think. I don't know. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it and move them down wherever I want them. Now you can go all the way up and down if you want. So what you do is just merge it down and then duplicate again, and now you have two. So you have two, and then merge those down, and now you have four. And you can put these wherever you want them. I don't know where you want them. Do you want them all the way up and down or staggered or what? You don't. Well, I don't know. And they'll go on both sides. Which side are they on? They're on this side. I still think they're too wide. They should be really tiny. And we also haven't played with the opacity at all. So when you get done with it, they're going to be really light, and they can be smaller than that. Well, let's see. Okay, we'd have to merge it. Go back to scale layer. Okay. Maybe even smaller than that. So now they're not quite so in your face. And then, I don't know, we can try it. And just stagger them here and there. And how many is there? One, two, three, four. So one, two, three, and that's all of them. And if you don't like it, you can always take them off.
There's some meat pie out here and just Joyce is out here, so.
Okay. My aunt from Colorado is here. We're doing our mom and dad's 50th anniversary this week. My boyfriend just called and said that his mom died today. Yeah, I know, sad. Okay, so I put them on both sides, and then I'm going to merge that and duplicate the layer, flip it, and then move it over here. He knew she was going to die for a long time. So she's had Alzheimer's for years. Years and years. Yeah. Well, at the end of his mom hasn't even spoken in years. She was very, very, very bad off. She wasn't. She doesn't speak. You have to feed her, change her. Yeah, he didn't sound extremely upset. Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah, that would be hard. Now, I think it does add a little bit of realism. They're very, very slight. It's not noticeable. It's It isn't like someone's gonna go zooming up into it. It's almost like you can't even tell. So then I didn't forget this thing. Let's see where it is. So I'm gonna go back down here. It's not there. There it is. So I'm gonna click this layer, and I have no idea what this is gonna look like. So what I'm gonna do is pick a color. Do you want the slightly yellow browny color for the seam to make the seam actually go together? Well, we'll try it. We can always change color and colorize. I'm gonna make this really tiny. I'm gonna make it 5 and put it back on normal. And I'm just going to go over it. As you can see, it's going right underneath those other things. And now, if you want it also on the top one, what we have to do is undo this so we can see it. And on this one, bring our opacity down a little bit so we can see where it goes. And there's just, this is the one we want, I believe. it this one? It's this one. And just go right there. And you're not going to be able to see it because we have our opacity down. But we're just following the edge of the opacity. Okay, so now I'll bring it back up and turn that back on. And it gives you this. Now, if you don't like it, you can change the color of it. Mm-hmm. And then there's one other thing we have to do after this. I try not to forget any of the details. And so instead of them being jaggedy, you can kind of see it a little more. There is one other thing that we do need to do to it, and that is I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm going to add a layer, and that is to add rivets. And you don't have to do this in anything but gray. So you just pick your gray because they're so tiny. So you can just copy and paste them. If you do want them to have a drop shadow, you can add a drop shadow to them too. I think they need to be a different color gray though. I think they need to be a little bit darker. Hmm. They might not even be big enough. I'm going to see if adding a drop shadow makes them pop a little more. Hmm. Not really super noticeable, but they are there. And I want to get rid of that. So I have to find my seam again. Wow, we added a lot of layers to here. Tons. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to click my seam, take my eraser, and erase right there because it come up a little too high. Do you like it? Yay! Completely, a completely Googled fit. It's not how I did the dress. The dress is not what I did. I can show you real quick what I did with the dress so you can know in a different way. Just the texture. I just wanted that to not be over the top of that because it shouldn't be. But okay, I'll just show you real quick. We're almost at our time, so I'm gonna stop this so that we're okay with it. Okay.